Welcome to episode 21 of Tale of the Tape. Tonight we're going to have Mike Sweetney on here, PG County legend, All Met Player of the Year, went on to Georgetown, had a great career, went on to be drafted, one of the best drafts ever. And he already tapped in. Let's get it going.
It is.
Mike, what's going on, man?
Hey, now what's going on with
I'm glad you could tap in with us this evening.
Nah, no doubt, no doubt. Sorry for all the hiccups, man, getting this thing going, man. I'm up here in the mountains right now, so
Hey, man, I ain't tripping.
yeah.
We probably have a small crowd tonight. Everybody up in New Jersey for those 101 games, or everybody
Yeah.
watching.
Oh yeah, that versus is on right now too.
Yeah. We are against the odds right now, but it's cool.
Yeah, and no doubt. So
so yeah, you coaching. Are you coaching two places right now?
yeah, so right now I'm coaching at a Jewish private school called Ramaz. It's on the Upper East Side,
Okay.
and I'm coaching at a D3 school, all Jewish schools who also call Yeshiva University. So yeah. So I'm just doing coaching high school and college right now.
Okay. How was the transition into coaching for you?
It's crazy because growing up, I was like, man, I would never be a coach, man. This ain't my thing.
Yeah.
But then as I got older and once I started playing, it almost became natural because I love to teach. I love to share my knowledge, and for me, I just get joy out of just taking somebody by the side, working with them, and just watching people grow. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So for me, watching people grow, so it's been a lot of fun.
Okay. Have you heard anything about either was the college level or high school level about the upcoming season?
Right now there's so many ifs because even the college I coach at right now, we don't even know when we're going back to school. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
they don't even know when they're going back to school. But I think a lot of people are thinking maybe the beginning of the year, beginning of 2021, people might just jump right into league play.
Okay.
That's the guess. But right now there's just so many unknowns. We don't know what's going to happen. We might start on time. You just don't know.
Yeah, just like everywhere else, don't nobody really know yet.
Yeah, sure.
So let's start. Growing up and playing in Oxon Hill, what were some of the first teams that you were playing with?
I started out with Oxon Hill Boys and Girls Club. Coach Daryl Moore was Coach Howard Hill.
Okay.
Junior. Those are some of my two first coaches. Growing up, taught me a lot. For me, I learned the basics right away. They just taught me how to play. Fundamentals of footwork and all that. So pretty much Oxon Hill Boys and Girls Club is where it all started for me.
Okay.
And then I really, weirdly, I didn't play a lot of AAU basketball.
Okay, that's what I was going. I was I was trying to find anything on it, but I couldn't.
Yeah, so I played for the ABC Runners for a little bit.
Okay.
I played for the Metro Players for a little bit. I played for teams here and there when I was younger, but when I got to high school, I didn't play at all because my story was different because I verbally committed to Georgetown early, and once I committed, they was kind of like, nah, you ain't playing AAU. So I just I was under the radar.
Okay. Did you play middle school ball? Did you play?
So I played at Oxon Hill Middle.
Okay. All right.
Yes, I played up there. Dwayne Shackleford, I played with him. So he was my point guard. So it was cool. We had a good squad, and like I said, that was something that I grew on too. So just pretty much all Oxon Hill, for real. Oxon High School, Girls Club, middle school. It was all Oxon Hill, for real.
See, I was a Fort Washington. I was an Allentown kid, so to each his own, though. To each his own.
Yeah. Nah. It's all connected in a way. So
yeah. Fact. So walking into high school, what was it like? Was it a tough transition, or did you go in comfortable?
It was one of those. It was the unknown because a lot of my friends that I played with, everybody went the private school route. I was the only one that went public school, and my father kind of had to believe. He was like, look, if you're good enough, they're gonna find you. You know what I'm saying? So we can't afford these private schools. So, this is what you're going to do. And I was like, I went in there with the unknown. I didn't have any friends. I had a couple of my neighborhood friends, whatever, before basketball buddies. Everybody went to private schools at first. So I really didn't know nobody going to say. I kind of went in there on the deer in the headlights. But luckily, You know, I had a good coaching staff, and I actually, you know, ended up playing varsity my freshman year. And my teammates really took me under their wing, like, you know, Terrence Nixon, you know, who was a legend. He's one of those guys, you know, that kind of just showed me the ropes, you know, about hard work and what it takes. And he was already committed to Mason at the time. So, you know, that kind of just that helped me a lot. I had good, you know, older people that been through the trenches to show me how to do it.
Okay. And I know, I mean, I was gonna ask later, but since you talked about it now, what is your perspective on, like, you know, like a lot of kids from the area? It's so many kids from Fort Washington, Oxon Hill, but they tucked in somewhere in Virginia or at DeMatha somewhere. Like, what's your perspective on that now?
It's tough, you know. At the time for me, it's one. I mean, I get it. You know, right now, you know, especially, you know, like, you know, politics wise, like those schools, you know, they probably, you know, some of those schools they travel. Like, you know, for me, when I was in Oxon Hill, I think we traveled twice out of the, you know what I'm saying, out of the area. As far as I think with the New York and like Virginia or something like that. But I see like these schools, they get to travel. They get, you know, facilities probably a little bit more better than public schools. So it just a lot of good things. And obviously some people feel like the competition is better. For me, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I think it's neck and neck. But for me, you know, I'm a public school guy. You know, I'm not knocking it at all. You know what I'm saying? People do what you do. I'm not knocking it up. But I mean, so like I said, to each his own with it when it comes to that. You know, for me, I think it's a win-win wherever you go. I think if you're good enough, they're gonna find you. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I just wanted to see where you chimed in, because I know like early in the year it was like everybody was going back and forth about public and private. So you said freshman you played varsity. Were you getting a significant amount of time freshman year?
Yeah, no, I was playing minutes. I didn't start, you know, because I had Terrence Nixon in front of me. I said he was all. I don't know if he was all. I know he was all that. And so I had him in front of me. So pretty much I was playing behind him. I was like the 6-man role, but I was definitely getting that groomed me, you know what I'm saying? Like playing against those, you know, those seniors that were hungry trying to get scholarships and practice. Like, funny because the practice was the hardest part, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was battles up in there, man. I'm seeing people that went to Oxford Hill, they on here, they'll tell you, like, and dudes was getting thrown through the wrestling, like that. It was like physical play. So like those practices really groomed me and like made me be the physical player that I, you know, be.
Okay. How was sophomore year?
So sophomore year, that's when you know, pretty much all, because we had a bunch of upperclassmen in our freshman year. So pretty much everybody left except for I had Ryan Gorham, Charles Sharp. Those guys, they were seniors. I'm sorry, they were juniors. But we had upperclassmen, so pretty much, you know, it was my time to shine. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, Keeman Jackson was with me. He left our transfer to DeMatha. So once he left, it was pretty much a lot more on me, you know what I'm saying? 'Cause he's one of our leading scorers. So I had to step my game up, and I think up there and just, you know, exceed expectations. You know, nobody really knew what I was going to do, and I just, you know, want to prove everybody wrong.
You did the thing. So you committed right after sophomore season?
It was kind of during my sophomore. It was like during my sophomore year. So we actually when we was playing Gonzaga, and Big John walked in the gym, and then that weekend I went for an unofficial visit. Just met with him in the office. I committed right there on the spot. so yeah, it was, you know, right there on the spot.
What was that like?
People thought I was stupid, man, for doing that.
I was gonna ask you, like, so what other schools were after you at that point?
So at that point, nobody really. I mean, I didn't. I had like you know, low majors or whatever. Like far as high majors, nobody really came after me. So for me, that was like one of the biggest schools. Also, too, you know, Georgetown, man. You know, the legacy of big man going in there, and they say, look, man, you come in here, what you're supposed to do, you can be on that wall. And I'm doing Matumbo, you know, Lonzo. I'm seeing, you know, Thella Harris. I'm seeing all those Allen Iris. I'm seeing all those guys with names on the wall. I'm like, man, I want to be up there. So, like, and I ain't care what nobody thought. They was like, man, you should take visits, man. You don't know what's out there. I was like, man, look, this is where I belong. So I took a chance.
That legacy. You want to be part of that legacy. That's tough.
Yeah.
So did you feel like there was less pressure after that, like for your junior, senior year, like you didn't have to worry about anything as far as going to school?
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, yeah, I mean, obviously I still had to like do schoolwork all that stuff, but like basketball was like fun. You know what I'm saying? I was going out there having fun, like just hooping, because I already knew, like, barring no injury, I'm good. Like I'm already got,
Yeah.
full ride to, a major D1 school. Yeah, so like it was no pressure. I could just go out there and have fun. It wasn't that pressure. Like, man, I hope coach can see me or trying to figure out what AAU teams I'm going to hoop for. None of that. I didn't even, I played for Jabo Kenner, like a couple of local tournaments, but I ain't do much. I was just trying to get better.
Yeah. So what was like
Mm-hmm.
now? Sophomore, you did your thing. Like now, you like the man in the area. What was that like? Because I know every single night, teams and players giving their best to you. How did you handle all that?
It was crazy because my father was the person that introduced me to hoops, and my father was a real humble person. He kind of kept me humble. Like, you know what
Okay.
I'm saying? Like, I had a game where I had like 25 and 18 or some crazy numbers. My father, like, good game, but once you get in better shape, I want you to work on this, want you to work on that. So he always kept me humble, kept me hungry to keep pushing. So no matter what was going on, I knew I was putting up good numbers. I knew I was doing, a solid job. But I always knew that, if I want to get to where I wanted to be, I knew I wanted to be an NBA player. But I knew I had a lot of work to do. So I knew, like, these numbers I'm doing in high school ain't going to get it. You know what I'm saying? I knew I had
Yeah.
to keep pushing and get ready for that next level. So, my father, he kept pushing me.
Okay. Okay. Um, Senior year, All Met Player of the Year. Was that an accomplishment that you had set out to achieve, or that's just something that came along with it?
To be honest with you, I'm not lying. It just came along with it. I didn't. For me, I think because of my sophomore year and my junior year, we lost, the state championships. So my goal was like, man, I'm not going in my senior year and losing three in a row. Like, I can't have it. So
Yeah.
I just had to lay it on the line. And luckily I had it because I had a good squad. I had, I had a racket of Jason Jackson, Lamar Butler, Phil Goss, Richard Little. I mean, Ronald Miller.
Oh,
So, but hey, I can name a lot of guys in the list.
yeah.
Like this. People don't know this. I want to say I want to play. It was like 6 or 7 of us that went Division One.
That's
Did I play
tough.
high school with? You know what I'm
That's
saying? So
tough.
that's why I always
Yeah.
tell people, like, people say, "Oh man, public school." I'm sorry, private school. I'm like, look, during my tenure, I played with 7 division, actually 8, concluding Terrence Nixon. I played with 8 Division One players in 4 years. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Even
Yeah.
private school was doing that. So like, yeah, like, we had some good moms, man.
Y'all definitely had miles, and it wasn't like you just said, like it was over the years. It wasn't just like, okay, 1-2 years y'all had those players. Like you said, you was a senior, but then y'all had sophomores and juniors that was coming up behind you, and they just kept it going.
Yeah, nah, for sure. Yeah, and like I say, once I left, they were still, still doing their thing. So yeah,
Yeah.
we were rolling.
And were you there? I didn't write the years down, but you were there at the same time Rebecca Brunson was there, right?
Yep. And so me,
What?
me and Rebecca we're the same exact age, and like
Okay.
Becky, she grew up like I live in where I used to live at. It was like a creek dividing where we lived at. And she lived behind me, and like me and Becky like used to hoop against each other all the time. Me and her brother Matt, and like Becky used to give us a run for our money. So like seeing where she is now, there definitely wasn't no shock. Like, yeah, Becky can hoop.
That's tough. That's tough. What was the energy like? Like with you and Rebecca there at the high school, y'all both doing y'all thing. What was the energy like at Oxon at that time?
I think for us, man, we both were so focused and so driven. It was definitely great energy because, like, we grew up. Yeah, we grew up really, really behind each other. So watching, I'm watching her grow and she watching me grow, and for us to be on that stage where, what I'm saying, I'm going to Georgetown. She ended up going to Georgetown. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So like,
yeah.
it was just one of those crazy things, man, where it just you start off as little kids and you go on a high school level, you grow, then you go to another level, you go, then like see what she is now, no matter, I don't care what nobody says, she a Hall of Fame when it's all said and done.
Yeah.
You know, so like just seeing that is amazing.
Yeah, that's rare. Something like that happening, that's real rare. That's tough. That's
Yeah, for
tough.
sure.
Um, and we're going into the college a little bit, but was there any, even though you stayed at Oxon all 4 years, was there any time like the private schools approached you about transferring anything?
Oh, of course. Yeah, once they started seeing me rolling a little bit, yeah, of course, I had schools coming at me like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I was like, nah, I'm good where I'm at. So here's the story to that. Julian Payton and Richard Little, they went to McNamara. I told you the guys I grew up playing with, they ended up going to McNamara. So
Okay.
they ended up transferring to Oxon Hill with me. So
That's tough.
they left the private school and they came, we started hooping together. So I had 2 guys that I grew up with. For their final 3 years, we played together. So that made me even more comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Guys that I grew up with playing, they ended up coming hooping with me. So it was fun.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I had questions about recruitment, but you already told me about that. It was all or nothing
Yeah.
for you at Georgetown. So you were in between Big John, like your coach, and John Thompson III, right?
Yep.
Was that at the time? Did you know, like going senior year, did you know that John Thompson wasn't going to be there?
Yeah, I knew.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, I knew. So like, he kind of told me, he was like, "Look, I'm retiring, but I'm still gonna be around, And which he was there. He never missed a practice, never missed a
okay,
game. He
okay,
just wasn't on the sideline coaching, but yeah. And then he assured me that, hey, Craig Asher is a good coach. He got this. He knows what he's doing. And once I got there, once I started to meet, Craig, he was an amazing guy. Like, not even just a good guy, not even just a good coach, just an amazing person. So like, we had a good relationship. So it was cool. It was smooth sailing for me. I felt comfortable with the whole transition, knowing that, hey, yes, I recruited you, but I ain't leaving you alone. So it was cool.
yeah, yeah. And I'm gonna ask you something you answered on the Dog Talk podcast. Shout out to Austin and Chris for doing that.
Yeah, they doing
Um, yeah. Um, when you got there, you said the biggest thing you had to learn was discipline.
mm-hmm.
What was that like? Was that a big shocker to you, or was you knew you had thoughts that you had to get more disciplined in order to do what you had to do?
Oh no, for sure. So it was one of those things like in high school. I wasn't, obviously, I wasn't the slimmest guy. So like, but my talent got me by. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like I was kind of bigger than everybody, and I just had a lot of talent. But I knew when I got to college, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, you got to be in probably the best shape of your life, and and you need the talent. So I knew once I got there, I had to, like literally, this is before I even. A lot of people don't know this either. Like, soon as my high school, as soon as I won a state championship, Georgetown called me and said, "You got 3 days to rest." So every day I get out of school at 4:10,
yeah,
drive to Georgetown, I had to be there by 5:30, working out for like 2 or 3 hours, running the bridge, like working out, getting home at like 9:30, going to school all day. Like, I'm doing this all this while I'm still in my senior year.
yeah.
And like, nah, we ain't gonna wait till the summer. You start now. So like by the summertime came, I was already like halfway there, and I just went over the top. So like that changed my mind changed my mindset because I'm like, man, if I can go to school all day, sit in traffic, go to Georgetown from Oxon Hill, train for hours, get up, get home late next morning. So like that just created that mindset. And then, like I
Mm-hmm.
said, seeing that way the gym was set up at the time, every day you in that gym, you see those names on that wall. So right there, that was just my drive. Like, man, I'm gonna be on that wall. I'm gonna be on that wall. And I knew I had to just change my diet, my work ethic, and I just became like a workout freak.
Okay.
Like it kind of came crazy. Like I was just putting that work in. Like people, they'll tell you around Georgetown, if you go right in the right time, you're gonna see Mike running every day out there with a trash bag on in the summertime.
Getting it in.
Yeah, getting it in. I was grinding, man.
No, that's respect though, because a lot of people, I mean, even though they go to the next level, they still don't have that discipline when they get there.
Yeah.
It paid off though, because your freshman year, you had a great freshman year.
Yeah.
What
Like I
was,
said, it definitely paid off. And like I said, I was coming in once again under the radar because we had a guy like Lee Scruggs, Cortland Freeman, Ruben Boonshay. Like nobody thought I was gonna see floor. They was like, man,
yeah,
you ain't seen the. How you gonna beat out all them? And I just worked my butt off. I was like, I don't care what nobody think, man. I knew my talent. I knew where I could
yeah,
be. I
yeah.
went in there first day of practice, like, all right, look, I'm here, and I made sure they knew I was there. So,
It was your time.
and, yeah, and then by the time my freshman year started, by the time the season started, they was like, look, you starting. So it shocked me, but I was like, wow. And then I guess the coach was like, nah, man, you got this, and I think that right there just gave me the confidence for that.
Okay, okay. Was there anybody that got the best of you your freshman year? Like, was it a tough matchup for you?
Um, Rest in peace. I would say Eddie Griffin. Me and Eddie Griffin from Seton Hall.
Yeah,
He played I think he played for the Rockets, and I forgot who else
yeah.
played for the league.
Like the Rockets.
Like we used to go at it. And uh, actually, a dude named Ryan Humphrey actually played in the league too. Played for Orlando for a little bit
Yeah,
from Notre Dame. Man, he used to give me problems because like I used to play. I was undersized and I used to always play low, but he was undersized and he used to play low too. He was athletic. Like dude I used to hate guard him, man. So Ryan Humphrey and definitely Eddie Griffin was my hardest, matchups my freshman year for sure.
okay, okay. And then transitioning in the sophomore, junior year, that's when like walking double, 20 into the game, shooting like 55% from the field. Did you turn your workouts up to another level, or just the experience you had from freshman year going into your second and third year?
I kind of just kept things the same. I tweaked a
Okay.
little bit. I started like because I was like I said, I would run so much outside in the concrete, so they kind of switched me up, like have me doing pool workouts, so I won't have so much pounding. But the work ethic was still there. I was doing 2 days, sometimes 3 days, like especially in the summertime. I work out in the morning, go to class. We might hoop at like 4. And then, Tony Bethel, one of my good man, right? He was a freshman, and me and him go hoop at night. We just go to the joint, like I would play him 1-on-1. Him and dude Daryl Owens. So I would play them dudes 1-on-1 at night. They guard. So me trying to keep
Yeah.
up with them, that would help me. So like that really took me over the top playing against those dudes.
Okay. Okay. What were some of your favorite memories from being at Georgetown?
Wow. For real, I would probably just say just the games, man. Just the games. Sometimes like you have a game and you might see some like weirdly, like you'll see like these politicians like Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton's obviously a Georgetown alum. You're sitting there seeing Bill Clinton sit on the sideline. For me, saying being from Oxon Hill, like we ain't had nobody like that at our game. So like
Yeah.
going to you seen all these top politicians and sometimes these famous people sitting on the sideline. That was like mind boggling for me. Like it's like wow, they really coming to see us play like that, and for somebody to know your name, stuff like that. So that was like for me, like wow, this is something like that. But I think, man, just the practices and the games, just like the great memories, and just the camaraderie, like on the bus, like those bus rides used to be funny, man. Like dudes get to joning on each other, man, and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So I think definitely the bus rides were probably like the best.
Okay. Are you still close to a lot of those guys that you play with?
Yeah, I still talk to some guys. We still rap, still talk, whatever. Like
Okay.
just talk to Kevin Braswell. So yeah,
Okay.
definitely talk to guys and keep in touch, whatever, checking in. And
Okay.
obviously Daryl Owens, I play with him. Like we talk a lot. So yeah, I definitely talk to a lot of guys.
Okay. Um,
Yeah.
After junior year, did you know during your junior year that you wanted to go to the NBA, or was it something that kept building momentum and you seen your name on the draft boards?
Um. So I kind of knew after my freshman year, like I heard whispers like, man, you can go pro. I'm like, yeah, okay, I hear you. Heard my sophomore year, I hear you. And then one day, my roommate, he was a manager, Mike Gilroy. And he was like, yo, because I never really, back then we didn't have computers and stuff like that or like phones where you can like, Google stuff. So one day he pulled up on his computer. He was like, yo, right now they got you going like top 10 in a mock draft. I was like, man, that ain't real. He's like, no, look. And he showed me. I was like, wow. And I had no clue.
Okay.
I literally called my pops that night and told him. He's like, yeah, I know. I said, what you think you know? He's like, yeah, we was going to have that conversation after the season, but, yeah, but for me, I was just out there just having fun and hooping. Like, I knew I had
Yeah.
good hands, but be like, hey, you could be a top 10 pick. So that I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? I really didn't know. And then once I saw it, I was like, wow. So then, after the season, it was kind of that conversation like, dude, you can't go back to school. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're a top 10 pick. You can't pass that up. You got to take advantage.
Right. Right. And that was probably another way Pops was trying to keep you humble, like you said he always was in high school.
Yeah, I'm sure it's because, like, yeah, my father could have easily been like in my ear, like, hey, make sure you get those numbers, man. You can be top 10
Yeah.
pick.
Yeah.
Never told me. Like, if my roommate would have never showed me that, I wouldn't have known. Because, like I said, I ain't have access to no computer to Google. I ain't know those websites like that back in the day. So I didn't know. So that's when he told me. He was like, yeah, he knew. And, I guess a couple of agents probably have contacted him during the year and all that stuff. So, G, what up, man? So other than that, yeah, it's
Okay.
crazy.
So you preparing for the draft. Did you work out with a lot of teams before the draft?
So I worked out with about 4 teams. I worked out for the Heat, the Knicks, um, the Knicks, the Raptors, and Seattle.
Okay.
Those are the 4 teams I worked out with. And it was weird because like back now it's changed, but I didn't sign with an agent right away. So when you don't sign with an agent, I guess you couldn't work out with people. So all my
Okay.
workouts like by myself or whatever. So it was crazy.
Okay.
But yeah, the draft process them workouts was crazy, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? I thought I was in great shape in college, but like I had to like once my junior year ended, I had to start getting I got in the lab something crazy. I was just, working out 3 times a day, just like crazy. I had to drop like another 15 after the season just to like be ready because like obviously the NBA is a lot faster, a lot more, guys a lot more strong, athletic.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had to like grind, and those workouts was like, yeah, like it's one of those workouts like I don't care how much great shape you in, they gonna break you down. They just
Yeah.
want to see how you can go. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're working out by yourself. Usually you have partners, you might get a little couple breaks. When you by yourself, man, it's all she wrote. So man, that don't it was hard, but like I said, it was well worth it because like every team I worked out for, got good feedback, and I know Seattle had 13. They was like, look, if you had 13, we taking you. So I had a lot of comfort going into the draft, knowing like, all right, no matter what happens, I know I ain't going past 13. So that was cool.
Okay. And I know in hindsight, it's easier to say, but like when you look back on the draft class you was in, that's a crazy draft class. Did you kind of have a feeling back then, like how talented your class was?
Yeah. I mean, I knew. I mean, I didn't know. Obviously, I mean, you knew guys had potential to be whatever. Like for instance, people like D Wade, because I watched him play a lot in college.
Okay.
Like I knew D Wade was good. I was like, man, this dude got a game that he gets the league in an open floor. Like that dude gonna be hard to guard. Chris Bosh, I saw him play a little bit. Obviously, Melo, I played against him 3 times, and he was just Melo. He's a walking bucket. Like it ain't nothing like. Yeah, Melo is unreal. Obviously, Braun is Braun. Then you still got guys like David West, Nick Collison. I mean, it's other guys in that joint too. TJ, who obviously he was rolling before he got those injuries.
Right.
Kirk Heinrich had a So like, it was a lot of talent in that draft, man. And definitely, I know it ain't the best, but it's definitely one of the best.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What was the excitement like for you? Like, were you really excited at that time, or did you have any nerves?
Oh, it was definitely nerves. It was crazy because, like I told you, even though I knew that Seattle was taking me at 13, I was like, man, anything can happen. They might renege on the joint. Like, because you always see the stories where it's like that one dude sitting in the joint late. I was like, man, I didn't want to be that person. So, like, it's so excited about it, you don't know. So I'm like, I was definitely nervous. I was like, that was really, no matter what I'd accomplished, that was in the back of my mind. Like, man, I can't be that dude that's sitting in the draft, in the green room last minute. And just like the unknown. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know where you about to be moving up to. Like, that morning you wake up and says, all right, it's at 7 p.m., my life is going to change. Like, am I going to be living in New York? I'm living in Seattle. I'm living in, Denver. Like, where am I going to be living at? So it's like one of those things, like, you got to really uproot your life last minute. So it's just a lot of unknowns, but just definitely one of the greatest moments, like, especially sharing with your parents. I had my mom and dad there, watching them cry. You know what I'm saying? That just right there, man. I know my career ain't turned the way I wanted to, but that's a memory I would never forget. I still have that picture in my head of like when my name got called, I'm on the stage shaking Devin Ster's hand, and the first thing I see is my mom and dad like crying and excited. Like that's a memory I'll never forget.
That's love.
Yeah.
I see somebody here just dropped it. I was looking. I have a Slam magazine with you in it, and I think it was one of those Converse ads, man.
Oh,
I
yeah,
was trying to
with
find it. I was trying to find it for the interview. I couldn't find it. What was
Actually,
it?
somebody just sent that thing to me. I think I have it somewhere, but yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Was that?
Because I showed back.
Was that one of your first deals?
Yep, that was the first deal. Like soon, that was like before I even stepped foot on the NBA court. I signed a deal with Converse, and then like probably like about 3 weeks after we had the draft. I think it was after. I think it was right after Summer League. It's probably like a month after the draft, after Summer League. They brought us up here for a photo shoot. We did a commercial too, and it was me, D Wade, Chris Bosh, Kirk Heinrich, and I think Troy Bell from Boston College or whatever. So yeah, that joint was legendary, man. That was crazy for me because like, man. I literally had a commercial that was like a national commercial.
Right.
So that is like, coming from Oxon, like I said, coming from Oxon Hill and just seeing like, wow, I got a commercial. Like, like I got, I didn't have no shoes in the store, but Converse sending me shoes with my name on it. Like that stuff was unheard of, man. So like it's just one of those things like, wow, this is like real. You know what I'm saying? I always had those moments to myself like, hey, I got stuff with my name on it. Like it was crazy.
I saw on the Dog Talk podcast, you said they were uncomfortable. Was that something you ever let like any of the reps know, or you just got the check and kept it moving?
Yeah, so like I tried everything in the book, man. Like they definitely wasn't comfortable. I tried like orthotics, man. I tried everything. They just wasn't because they, Converse had went away for a long time as far as when it comes to basketball. I think the last time they've been around for as far as basketball, like Chuck Taylor.
Right,
it's like
right.
Willis. They chose our draft class to bring it back, but they had a lot of wrinkles to get up. But like the first 2 years, by my third year, it was okay. But the first 2 years, it was rough, man. Them joints was they was rough. But like you blisters on your feet, bleeding after the games. But that paycheck was cool though, so I ain't gonna complain too much.
Fact, fact. So you in New York. What was it like going into New York City?
Man, that was wow. It was crazy. Like I said, I would go there when I was Georgetown for the Big East, but then just going to New York City. I think I had a moment. It was before the season started, which is crazy. I mean, that's the Knicks for you. I was down. I remember walking downtown with my family or whatever, and I looked up and I saw a billboard, and I was on a billboard in Times Square. It was like a Knicks promo. It was like me, Allen Houston, and like Kurt Thomas or somebody. I was on a billboard. I'm like, yo, I'm in New York City on a billboard. Like, that was probably one of the craziest moments of my life. Like, in really middle of Times Square.
Yeah.
So, just playing in New York, man. Just the fans there. Like, the fans was crazy. Like, I loved it. Like, because I play hard. So, like, just the fans, they show you so much love. You ain't never, you ain't got to worry about meals paying for no meals when you're in the city. Like, man, New York was like, it was an amazing place. I still, like, I moved back to New York. I live in New York now.
Okay.
So, like, me being back in New York, I still get that same love. Like, no matter if I was an all-star, didn't pan out the way people wanted, they still show love up there. Like, New York, man, it was a great place to play. Like, man, if you went up there and you ain't get an effort, they'll let you hear it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, long as you play hard for them, man, they gonna love you, man. It was a great city. They know they hoops. So, New York was dope, man.
Did you ever get into like any arguments with like any people from New York about like who had the best basketball?
Oh, for sure. Like, man, I was arguing. I was like from when I was in New York, when I went to Chicago, because obviously Chicago think they all the dudes too.
Yeah.
When I was playing overseas too, I had arguments with dudes. I'm like, man, my area got some of the best. Like, man, y'all whack, man, y'all ain't got. I'm like, dude, I'm trying to tell y'all. And I'm so glad that KD came out with this documentary because now it kind of just sealed the deal.
Yeah.
When I was, and even with the documentary. I'm sorry, Katie and Jimmy Jenkins. My fault, man. Jimmy Jenkins. Shout out to Jimmy Jenkins.
Shout out to him.
Yeah. And it's so crazy because even with I know they couldn't do it. It was so many guys that was left out of that joint.
Right.
NBA players. And I always tell people, I ain't even talking about the pros. We probably got to be top 3 in the country when it comes to guys that's going D1.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, the NCAA
they
released that list. Yeah. Every year.
Quote me on it, but like every time I turn around, I'm watching the TV, like somebody from PG County or somebody from DC area, Maryland, DC area, like, you know what I'm saying? So like that right there, I was like, man, yeah, man. Rod, what's up, buddy? Yeah, so it's been it was crazy. So like when they came out with that documentary, man, I seen that, I was like, man, thank you guys. Now y'all don't look crazy because everybody like, man, who y'all got? And I started naming people like, nah, man, they don't, because the people that I know that can go, people that really don't know.
Yeah.
So it's crazy, man.
And I think like one thing like a lot of people don't miss, like when you're having that debate or arguing with somebody, they don't understand like how our population is so much smaller than the boroughs in New York or Chicago. Like they don't understand that part of it.
Yeah. Like I say, it's just we don't have a huge population, and like we got a lot of dudes that can go. Like I just me even just growing up, man, I was a huge Lonnie Harrell and Kurt Smith fan. Like those like the dudes I just like loved. And I'm like, dudes like that didn't even make it to the league. I'm like, man, y'all don't even understand. Like some of y'all dudes, I'm like some of them, them players from New York, they can get them dudes work. Like man, I used to have arguments with dudes. They don't believe him. Like, man, I just don't understand. Like we, we breed it. I can't explain it. Like I get it. People say New York is a mecca. But I'm like, man, we deserve some respect to be in that conversation.
Right. And like again, no disrespect to New York, but it's like they lived off, a certain time period for a long time. And while like PG was producing and New York was just living off, the legacy of everything.
We definitely caught up with them. We definitely caught up.
Yeah.
I saw something during the pandemic when I think it was like Quinn Cook and Lance was going back and forth.
Yeah.
Lance like, I'm gonna get my 5, and Quinn was like, who's your 5? And so when Lance tried to name his people besides Kimba and like somebody else, he couldn't really go too deep. So
right.
Quinn like, yo, I got Vic, I got KD, like Jeff Green, like we can go for it. Like, Markel, like, it's names. Like, come on now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So leaving, I know we got a little off topic. Leaving, you were in New York for 2 years, and then you traded to Chicago. What was that adjustment like for you? Was it something like you just, all right, this is just the business of the NBA, or were you a little bit shocked?
Man, it was hard. Like that was a hard thing because it was because like what happened was in New York my first year it was rough. Like, you know what I'm saying? I did what I was supposed to do and just, just had a lot going on in life. And it didn't turn out, the way I wanted to. Then I ended up getting a new coach, Lenny Wilkins, came in. And Lenny was like, saw my first practice, was like, yo, why are you sitting on the bench? I was like, man, I don't know. So Lenny started to play me. And I started, get minutes. And next thing you know, I started starting for a little bit. And then what happened? Well, I guess they ended up firing him. And then a new regime came in. What happened was management wanted me there, but ownership wanted to go in a different direction.
Okay.
So, yeah, so that was one of the things because the manager's like, look, we ain't trading you. I'm like, all right, whatever, cool. Next thing you know, next day, I'm traded. I was like, wow. So that's when I knew it was a business. I'm like, 1 minute they telling you they ain't gonna trade you, the next morning you gotta pack your bags and go to a new city.
Yeah.
So and I just got to a situation, man. It just Chicago just wasn't fun for me at all, man. I got to that joint, man. I was miserable there. Like, me and coach ain't see eye to eye there, and that's when that's a point where I kind of literally like that trade. Really, just like I lost my love for the game of basketball for years because of that trade. Because like I was in Chicago, just miserable, man. I was miserable.
Yeah.
Like I got stories for that joint, man. it was a rough time, man. Rough time.
Yeah, and you said like you went through a lot of things during that time period.
Yeah.
Did at any point did you ever just think about stop playing at that time?
I did. So I mean, it crossed my mind a lot because, like, especially in Chicago,
Yeah,
I was telling my agent, "Please get me traded out of here. Please get me traded." And they would not trade me. I was like, "They just gonna keep me here because they're like the way they treated me, man. They treated me like I was just scum of the earth. It was just, I ain't gonna lie, it just wasn't a great organization in my eyes. That's just how it was. They just wasn't good people. And obviously, when you see the Last Dance, yeah. So that all that stuff kept going on. It's not a good organization. It's not good people, and I don't care if they here or not. You know what I'm saying? But it was one of those things. My agent, they just wouldn't trade me, and that's why I was like, man, I'm at a point like, look, I'm just done. So after my 2 years there, my agent was like, hey, why don't you, we got Phoenix, interested. I had a couple of teams like, hey, look, no matter what, I know you sat for 2 years, we know what you can do, we'll sign you. And I quit. That joint messed me up so bad. I told my agent I don't want to go back. He was like, what? You turn this down? I was like, yeah. I mean, probably the worst mistake I made in my life. But at the time, I was just so mentally drained. I was like, look, I don't even want to go no more. I'm done. Like, Phoenix, like, look, I had to deal with Phoenix. I just turned it down because I was just so mentally drained from, like I said, I had personal stuff going on with the loss of my father, and basketball wasn't going good. I was like, man, I just need a mental break. So I just, took like a couple of years off from basketball. I just walked away from it.
Yeah. When you started playing professionally overseas, did you start to gain some of the love, or were you still kind of like going through the motions?
Oh, now I gained a lot of the love back because overseas, like, guys that played overseas, there's nothing but love, like fans, like, the passion over there, you just so much love overseas. And over there, I was just, people ain't really care about Mike Sweetney, the lottery pick. It was just like all love. So I kind of just can be a normal person overseas to an extent where if I would happen to, be back in the States and worry about, hey, man, what happened to your career, man? What happened to this? I ain't hear that all that time. Whereas overseas, I ain't hear that not one time. So it was kind of like a peace of mind where I can just go over there and just hoop and just be. And obviously, I was in good place. Like, so I was in Puerto Rico, so I'm living in San Juan on the tourist area on the beach, condo on the beach, just hooping. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was cool, man. It was cool. It was a good, good way to kind of get the love of the game back.
Okay. Was it tough adjusting to living internationally?
So for me, I mean, I was kind of spoiled. I always took the jobs that were short. I would always go for like playoffs. I would go for like, like the last month and a half. I was never gone more than 3 months.
Okay, got you.
I always took one of my homeboys, one of my good friends, Phil Goss. I always had a call. I was asked like, dude, how you be gone like 9-10 months out of the year? Because even when I was doing those 2-3 months, I was like losing my mind. So, but I would always take short jobs, man. Just so for me, it wasn't that much of an adjustment
Okay.
for me. So, but like I said, it was definitely not the NBA. Obviously, the travel, the accommodations, and stuff like that, and obviously the level of talent. But it was just something good to go out there and just kind of just play under the whistle and still, had that, that passion and competition.
when you were playing overseas, did a lot of times did like teams or organizations, did they come for you for like a, I guess I want to say like a coach on the floor because of the level of basketball you played at?
Oh yeah, all the time. Yeah, all the time. So they were definitely like, hey, coach was like, hey, I want to get your opinion on, X, Y, and Z. What you think we should do? How should we do this? Or, hey, we want to bring in such and such player. What you think of him? Like, we hear some film. Tell us what you think. So definitely, and I think that's probably what started changing me to go into coaching. I think that I didn't know at the time, but I think that's what was molding me into being a coach because I started like making management decisions and changing X's and O's. Or if there's a play like, I don't think we should run this way. We should run it this way. Let's do a wrinkle. Let's do this. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah.
So coaching, it was kind of a natural transition once you got back, honestly.
Yeah, like as soon as I got back, like I said, I got back to the States and that's why I moved to New York. I moved to, had a situation up here where they was like, look, come on up here and coach. And I was like, all right, cool. And it was I transitioned. For me, it transitioned well. I ended up coaching a girls varsity team. Never coached girls in my life. I didn't know how that was about to go. And but it was good. Like, what I'm saying, I had a great group of girls that that worked hard, and we lost our first 3 games and won our next 8 and lost in the playoffs. Like for me, that was, we did good. And then
Right.
the college I coached at, that was a situation. Yeshiva University, we went 29-1 this year, and I was so crazy.
Congrats on that.
Yeah, so for me, I mean, I ended up doing it was really like the players and the coach, like head coach, like he had a great coach, Elliot Stein. Shout out to Coach Stein because he's the one who gave me the opportunity.
Okay.
They had an amazing opportunity. It was one of those situations I learned, and then I'm not knocking nobody I ever played with, whatever, but that was probably the first time I've ever been around a team where guys 1 through 15 never complained about playing time, never was upset, and it was all about, look, we're gonna win this chip. I've never seen that before in all of my life of basketball. And there's not no knock against nobody. I think a lot of people say I can never see not one person complain. Like have you ever been around a team where you see not one person complain about playing time? And guys that should be playing, like, wow. And what I'm saying, it wasn't. And like I was like, man, this is different. And guys just bought in. And like they was rolling. And it was just crazy, like, me and coach had this running joke because it was Jewish kids. So we would play against teams like looking like us, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'd be looking at the dudes and women like, yeah, we about to smash them dudes. Back in my mind, I'm like, man, y'all only had no clue. And them dudes, like we got a guy on our team that 2 guys that probably could play Division I, but obviously for religious reasons, they played in the school because this is a very religious school.
Yeah.
And so like guys ain't no slouch, and they be going out there. They was beating dudes by 20. Like it wasn't nothing. And dudes was scratching their head like, damn, this crazy was happening. So like, it was good. It was a fun year. So like I said, so I got into a lucky situation to be around a great group that helped that coaching transition good for me.
Oh, that's tough. That's tough. And I want to touch. I know over the years you became like a big advocate for mental health. Can you explain like some of the things you do as far as going with that advocacy for mental health?
Yeah, no doubt. So like, just a quick rundown. Like, when my father passed away, I suffered from like depression, like really bad. Like when I was playing the league, like, it was like real bad. Like I kind of, I hid it from a lot of people. And it was one of those things where it kind of like, like I say, it took a toll on me. Like that's why it's one of the reasons I walked away from the game.
Uh-huh.
And so now I kind of just go around, to organizations, corporate events, high schools, just individuals in general. I just kind of just share my story of what I went through. How no matter, I was at the highest point of my life.
Right.
I wasn't happy. You know what I'm saying? Like I was miserable, and I was suffering from depression. And I always just try to tell people to speak out. When you feeling about that, you feeling like you're depressed. Try to get some help. Try to talk to somebody because like, trying to hold it in and be macho is not gonna get better. So I try to just advocate. I'm not a doctor. I always I just share my story.
Mm-hmm.
I just try to advocate. Look, man, let's try to change the narrative. Like, man, like especially black men. A lot of black men, our pride gets sometimes. And like, look, no matter what, man, like we all go through it. Like, I don't care who you are. Like, we all have our moments where, it gets the best of you, whether it's, financial or, dealing with kids and family and, wife problems, job problems, no matter what. Like, life gets the best of us. But as men, we always taught to man up and be strong. Like, nah, we can have that our vulnerable moments, and it's okay to be wrong. I just try to change that narrative.
Yeah, because it'll definitely consume you if you let it. And then something you said, I thought like when you said something I read that you had said, you said at the time like people were trying to label Ron Artest, oh, he's crazy, And when you see stuff like that, like, man, here go a superstar in the game, and they looking at him this way, and you one of the young players in the game, so if they label him like that, what would they say about me, and how would they treat me?
Oh no, for sure. So like I was like, man, I'm not saying. I mean, it sucked. I was like, man, if I say something, I'm out the league. That was my mindset because
Mm-hmm.
at that point, you know, the NBA is just now starting to get comfortable with that
Right.
conversation. But
Right.
back then, and like Ron Artest, the dude wasn't crazy. Like I've had many conversations with the dude. Like I met him, like damn, like wow. Like you listen, like the stuff people say about him on TV, get to me like, man, this dude ain't crazy. Like this dude, whatever. And obviously, I don't know what maybe it was like anxiety or whatever he had. I don't know the extent of what what he went through when it came to mental health. But like he was probably an amazing person to get a shirt off his back to you. You know what I'm saying? So he was just, but obviously he had stuff where he needed counselors or he needed whatever it was to keep him mentally intact. But
Right.
definitely no far crazy. So, but I just hated that label. But now,
Yeah.
people really come on.
Yeah. Do you so I know you talked about on Dog Talk podcast, but do you really keep up with Georgetown basketball, trying to see where the program is going? You really keep up with it?
Yeah, I do. Man, but I said for me, I definitely want them to want them to do good, man. I'm hoping that for me, and I said on the dog pass, for me, I'm like, man, like I said, all this talent we got in our area, I'm hoping that Georgetown can get at least a couple of those guys, man, like and just get back to to the good old days, man. So I'm hoping, Pat is an amazing person, great guy, knows his X's and O's, and I believe that he can get it turned around. I think it's just going to take time. It's going to take time to, for people to really start feeling Georgetown again. You know what I'm saying? That's just being honest. Like right now, people ain't really rocking. Like so, all our talent is going outside of the city. Whatever. Hopefully, we can get to a point where they start going it. But I definitely want Georgetown to start doing well. I would love to start bragging again. But that's still in my heart. Say that Georgetown. Without that, I wouldn't be where I am right now. So definitely, paid the way that got me to the NBA, got me here, and like even just the alumni, alumni in general, like outside of basketball, is amazing. I'm in New York, and I mean lawyers. I run into big hedge fund guys or lawyers. Hey, I'm from Georgetown. Like the network is crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah. So go on. What's up, buddy? Other than that, man, it's been it was a good situation.
Yeah, and I don't know if you or Kevin Braswell said it's just like you just said, it's going to take time to rebuild that relationship with the local hoop scene.
Yeah. It's definitely going. And I'll be honest with you, I don't even know how. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know where we even start for real. Because that's just a related. Because I know I've had people say, man, look, I'm not sending nobody. People always. I had parents like, yeah, I'm not comfortable sending my kids to Georgetown right now. I'm like, wow. So. I don't know. Hopefully, I just think it's going to take for us to, Georgetown just to have, a couple of good seasons, back-to-back seasons, people start really feeling it again. Because, winning cures all.
Yeah.
You can say all the things you want. If you're going out there losing, people ain't going to rock with you. So,
right.
At some point, we got to start getting some wins. So, that'll be what's up, man.
And somebody said, who was the better shooter, Lamar or Phil?
Woo! Man, that's tough.
They put you on the spot, too.
Yeah, for real. And I'm not being politics, whatever. That's hard because they both are great shooters. Like when I was playing with both of them, when I kicked that joint out, that joint was getting knocked down by the both of them. Like they both amazing shooters. It's almost trying to say who was better between Klay Thompson and Steph. I can't really say that as far as shooting wise. They both can knock it down.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah,
but yeah, they both can knock it down. It ain't no. Yeah, I don't know. Somebody said Lamar's the best shooter. Oh, Lamar's senior. Oh, yeah, senior. Yeah, Red Dog can shoot it.
Do you have any favorite players in the league right now?
Obviously Braun. Like Rich, what up, bro? Definitely Braun. Like Braun is like obviously like we got drafted the same year. For me, I just love watching him make history. Like I know he ain't gonna. Obviously he's never gonna pass Mike, but just watching him. From when we got drafted to where he is now, is amazing, man. So like he can go down as one of the all-time greats. So Braun is definitely my favorite player. Obviously I love watching Giannis. I love Brad Beal. So yeah, those are like the guys I really love to watch. So those guys those are my guys.
Okay. And I know it's backtracking to local scene. Do you keep up with any of the local high school players now in the area, or are you focused in New York?
Nah, yeah. I mean, by me being in New York, I'm so out of touch right now. It's
Okay.
crazy. I try to, but I know, I know about Trevor Kills because I was at National Christian with him for a little bit. He was a youngin.
Yeah, Trevor. Yeah.
So, yeah, seeing him where he is now, like I'm not surprised. Like I seen him was like a 7th or 8th grader. He be in
Yeah.
that joint cooking cheese. So I
Yeah.
was like, man, this
Yeah.
he can go. So like,
Yeah.
and I knew he was and I knew at some point he would go to one of the schools or whatever. So like, I knew about Trevor. That's one of the guys I do know about. I seen him as a youngin or whatever.
Yeah, they used to try when Trevor was in 7th grade. They used to always say he played bully ball. I'm like, man, you just gotta get big with him. Like,
Yeah,
what are you
yeah,
supposed to do?
yeah. Yeah,
Um,
his game. I love his game though.
so if on the last note, if you could tell any like whether it be a top prospect, a guy come off the bench in high school, what would you tell them to focus on while they playing basketball and getting out of high school?
Man, for real. I know it's not cliche, but just hard work, man. Like every day, being at gym, getting them shots up, getting your cardio in, and just trying to do the right thing. Watch your circle, just people that you hang around. Like if you're around people, man, that ain't pushing you to get better, they trying to go hang out and party all the time. Don't get me wrong, have your fun. You know what I'm saying? Have your fun, but you got to find that balance between having fun and working. Like, you got to make sure you get those, those 2 days and you working in the morning, going in late at night, getting those shots in, and just, like I said, having the right people in that work ethic. That's what's going to take you there. If you ain't got people around you that's pushing you, then, I don't know what to tell you, but you got to have that right crowd and just that work ethic, man, and just grind. You know what I'm saying? Don't. A lot of people right now, and I'm not knocking no parents on here if they lost it, but a lot of people want instant results, like, you know what I'm saying, right away.
Yeah.
Sometimes it could grind. Like, sometimes you might come out of school, you might not see the floor the first year. You might be working out twice a day and not see the floor. But you got to keep pushing. You know what I'm saying? Keep pushing, keep grinding, until something comes. I'm a firm believer that, hard work does pay off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I just say hard work, grind, work hard, and just, stay out of the way and stay out of trouble.
All right, man, Mike. I appreciate you hopping on, sharing your knowledge and experiences with us, man.
Appreciate you. Sorry for the couple of days late.
Oh no, you good. You good. I mean, it worked out. I ain't worried about it.
All right.
I appreciate you,
All
man.
right.
You be
So
easy.
enjoy those games and enjoy that game tonight too.
All right, yeah, yeah. Be easy, man.
All right, no doubt. You too, brother.
All right.